folks, hope you're all doing well, and welcome to episode 36 of Recommend an Album to Review. So just briefly explaining how the show works, every week you folks are kind enough to throw a album recommendation in the comments. The only criteria being a band that I haven't already covered on the channel, one album's worth of material, something I can digest in a week, and you guys have been great. I mean, 36 weeks, I've always had plenty of albums to choose from. So for this week, this is a band that's been requested a few times. They're called Fire Hose, lowercase f and the rest of the letters in uppercase. So my understanding is, just reading a little bit about these guys, they're I guess regarded as a punk band, or came from a punk band called the Minutemen, that the guitar player had passed away, and then they sort of reformed with the new member, and you have Fire Hose. I keep wanting to say Firehouse, but Fire Hose. So and when this record, I mean, even though it sort of comes from the sort of punk, genre, it's not really, when I say punk, don't think like, like the Ramones type of like simple stuff. These guys have major chops. The attitude is punk. They're the songs are, they're making statements with each song, and that in that sort of regard. So sort of like the punk mentality, but not necessarily playing. It's very technical at times. Bass player on this record is just sick. He's like a John Entwistle guy. He's all over the place, very, very busy. The drums are keeping right up with it, and there are tracks here that kind of sound very Who-like, and where the rhythm guitar kind of is just sort of what's holding it all together. So the record that I looked at is called Ragin' Full On, and see what year this came out in 1986. Okay. And yeah, I'm just looking at it. They're, the genre is alternative rock, art, punk, folk rock, or funk rock. There's a little bit of all that in there. So, the songs on here, some of them are kind of like fragments, little 1 minute, 2 minute kind of ideas, and then there's some more fleshed out songs. But yeah, let's just go through the tracks. Just before going through the tracks, I should mention the guys in the band. You got Ed Crawford on guitars and vocals. You've got Mike Watt, the bass guitar player I was talking about earlier, on vocals as well. The drummer is George Hurley, and it was produced by Ethan James. All right, so let's look at the first track. First track on here is called Brave Captain. This is my favorite song on this. This seems to be the most sort of fleshed out kind of, it's not not commercial, but most appealing track on here. And this one, I was mentioning the Who example before, and this is very Who-like in the instrumentation. It's not bad. It's kind of hooky. The vocalist on this, and there's two singers, I mentioned, two guys doing vocals, so I'm not sure who's singing this particular song. It sounds like it's the same guys doing the majority of the vocals all the way through, but anyway. So I don't know which. Anyway, but that aside, it's got a very distinctive voice. It works for me. It works at times, and at times it doesn't. It's not bad on this track, but there's other songs where like it just really doesn't click. But on this particular track, it's not bad. But this is, for me, this is the best song on the record, is the opener, Brave Captain. All right, then you get the first of the shorter songs. This is just under 2 minutes. It's called Under the Influence of Meat Puppets. This is just kind of experimental, kind of prog, kind of a jam thing going on. It's okay. Doesn't really do a hell of a lot for me, but I mean, if you like that really kind of experimental sort of jazzy thing with the three-piece band, guitar, bass, drums, it's okay, but it doesn't really grab me much. And then you've got It Matters. This is another 1 minute 40 song. It's just very frenetic and busy, and just complicated music going on behind, and the vocal over top, and it's more like a spoken vocal more than a singing vocal. And this is sort of where the vocals don't. This is where the voice is not really working too well for me. But yeah, it matters is the third track on here. Then you got Chemical Wire. This is more of a fleshed out song. Not a bad track. This one is actually not bad at all. It's got a pretty cool sort of riff on it. Again, very, very busy bass and drums and the guitar kind of holding it down. Yeah, this one, I prefer the first song more, but this one is not bad. This one is not bad. All right, then you got Another Theory Shot to Shit. That's the name of the song. It's a lot of spoken word in here. I'm not a lyric guy, so I'm sure there's a real deep message in this somewhere. But not being a lyric guy, I'm a music guy, and yeah, it's just I don't know, just the instruments come and go, and then there's spoken word. It just doesn't really work for me. And again, the vocal, I guess, is more speaking than anything. Just the whole song just doesn't work for me. Then you got On Your Knees. It's got a little nice little acoustic kind of riff to it, but it just doesn't go anywhere. Just that gets played over and over again, and some vocal over top. Yeah, this one leaves me flat as well. Then it's Locked In. This one is 3 minutes. It's more of a fleshed out song. It's okay. I mean, each of these will have like some cool musical moments, but they just they just don't come together enough for me. And this is another example of that. In the previous song, it's got like a nice bit, and then it just kind of doesn't go anywhere. I find a lot of that on this record. So The Candle and the Flame. This is almost like a progressive jazz type track with almost a spoken vocal over top. I mean, you know, it's interesting musically because again, hats off to these guys. Great musicians. The playing is phenomenal, and the bass pretty much in every song is like the lead instrument. It's not the guitar. There is, I think, I counted 2 solos in this whole record. Um, it's mainly rhythm guitar, but it's the bass that kind of drives everything. Again, this one has moments, but as a whole, I don't know. Doesn't really do it for me. Hey, Choose Any Memory. This one's not bad. It kind of has a bit of a ska vibe to it because there's like this offbeat, upstroke thing. This one's not bad. It's not as good as the first one, but this is compared to most of the songs, this is one of the better ones. So Choose Any Memory with that ska feel. I dig it. Hey, Perfect Pairs, even more ska feel, which I dig, with a real busy bass line. And this isn't a bad track, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. This one is okay. It's okay. This one and the previous one are sort of cut from the same cloth. Then you have this. This is like the only song that's just an acoustic guitar with a vocal, and I'm sorry, but the guy's voice just doesn't cut it. I gotta be honest. And this is only a minute 43 seconds. It's got a nice acoustic part to it. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't sound fully fleshed out. As a song. I do like the acoustic bit though. That's pretty cool. But they needed to add a B section and just kind of flush it out a little bit more. But that's this. That's this. Karoma. I think that's how you pronounce it. 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes. It's okay. It's this one again just doesn't really do much for me musically. Doesn't really go anywhere. Just kind of sits there, But that's Karoma. Relating dudes to jazz. This is not a bad track. This one's okay, but then there's I guess there's a statement. There's the music stops. And there's some spoken word kind of in between verses and stuff, and that kind of kills the momentum of this song, if you will. The riffs and the playing are some good musical moments on this one, but yeah, they should have just stuck with the song and maybe added another part to it. And anyway, that's Relating Dudes to Jazz. And the Closer, things could turn around. This is different than other songs because most of them are kind of upbeat and kind of frenetic. This one is sort of more like laid back, kind of dreamy vibe to it. It's okay. The vocals again don't really work for me on this, and it's okay. You know, what can I say about Fire Hose? Um, it doesn't really do it for me. I mean, like I said, there's some really good musical moments on it. If I'm just listening to it, as a, guitar player, kind of would be musician, I really appreciate the playing on it, the technical aspect of the playing. I mean, again, the chops are amazing. The band is really tight. I should mention too, the record sounds really good. The production on this record is great. Okay, that's a thumbs up. It sounds really, really good. And the playing is top notch. It's the songs. There's again some really cool musical moments, but there's just not enough to kind of where I want to listen to go back and listen to this again. Like this is a one listen for me, and that's it. Outside of like the first song, which is pretty good, the rest of it as a whole just really doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. But hey, can't like everything. So, but that's those are my thoughts. If I was to rate this out of a five, um, maybe a two, and a two because of the musical moments and the one song, because it has that and it's got really good playing. So if you like the proggy stuff, the really interesting, complex kind of stuff, but smashed into like very short, I don't think there's really. Yeah, the song's over three. There's nothing here longer than 3 minutes. I don't think there's any 4 minute songs on here. It's all kind of condensed. If you like that sort of thing, you might dig this. With really good production, but then that vocal just really tanks it for me. So unfortunately, yeah, this is only going to be a 2 out of 5 for me. So if you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. Please check out the links below if you want to help the channel. And yeah, if you have an album you'd like me to check out, throw it in the comments. And I do this every Thursday at 7 p.m. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.